Welcome to Valley Viewpoint. I'm Roger Johnson. My guests are Kari, Isaacson, and Erendira, Cruz. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yes.
Both of you, we're so pleased that you're here on Valley Viewpoint. You have had visions of, first of all, I have a catalog in front of me that I received in my Sunday paper edition.
Mm-hmm.
And this was an outstanding collection of helping agencies in this valley, charities, nonprofits. What's the history behind this?
Well, it all started 5 years ago with the Alternative Gift Fair during December that the Sustainable Living Centers created.
Yeah, so the Alternative Gift Fair was an opportunity to bring local nonprofits together and offer gifts of support to the community in a fun and festive environment with live music and hot beverages and a craft table and a lot of mingling with neighbors and friends. And it was kind of conceived as an alternative to traditional gift giving. By giving to a nonprofit in the name of a loved one, you could shy away from some of the traditional consumer-based gifts that are often such a highlight of the season.
Oh.
So what we share is trying to encourage people to be generous and help others, think of others, especially at the holidays, because you know our community is so generous. So the Sustainable Living Center has that mission. The Community Foundation, which is the Blue Mountain Community Foundation here in Walla Walla. It goes Garfield, Columbia, Walla Walla, and Umatilla counties, but we serve this entire southeastern Washington, also in Oregon. We work a lot in Prosser too. During the holidays, we wanted to make it easy for people to find out who was doing what good work and how to get in touch with them, how to support them. So this catalog is 60 nonprofits, 60 charities, profile each one, talk about what their mission is, and then we encourage people to come to the Blue Mountain Foundation website, make a donation on behalf of this organization. So they give through our website and the money goes to the nonprofit.
I think that's a great idea. You're both executive directors of these fine organizations. Again, I'm going to practice that Blue Mountain Community Foundation.
Yes.
And that used to be Blue Mountain Area Foundation?
Yes, a long time ago.
When did that change? I was so behind times. It was a good thing that I had you as a guest here and your willingness to come on, because I remember it as the Area Foundation.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people do, and that's just fine.
We got a lot of old residual memories here with old people in this valley. But when did you change the official name?
It was well before I got here 6 years ago. I'm not actually quite sure. I think maybe in 2010, 2011, something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
And you haven't changed your name, though?
No, we haven't.
Well, share the bit of the history of this and the location of your organization.
Yes, so our offices, the Sustainable Living Center offices, are located at the Walla Walla Community College in the Water and Environmental Center. And we're really focused on resource conservation and sustainable living practices. And the part that appealed to me about doing an alternative gift fair was kind of the sustainability piece, to be honest, as well as the opportunity to highlight local nonprofits. The sustainability piece comes in where you're purchasing less consumer-based gifts, that a lot of that stuff ends up in the landfill. You're purchasing a lot of times for people who have what they need and maybe don't even want a gift, and perhaps they'd rather have that money go towards a charity of their choice. So those were the reasons that we started it, and through careful nurturing from a lot of community partners, including the Blue Mountain Community Foundation, have now gotten to a point where we do have a considerable number of nonprofits involved. For the gift fair on the 7th, we will have 31 nonprofits participating, and
Good
all
share
of
of
those
this, huh?
31
Yeah.
are in the giving catalog as well. So if for some reason you're not able to come out to the gift fair, you can still support those organizations through the giving catalog.
And I read that it's at the Reed Center on the Whitman College campus. Is that right?
Correct, that's right. So in the Young Ballroom on Whitman campus.
And Kari, when did you and Erendira get together on this?
It actually just earlier this year. Now, I've
Wow.
known Erendira, and we've worked together on other things, but the whole idea of coming together really was something that the community council here in town did. Wait,
Community-
was it this year or in 2018?
2018
So
was, yeah.
it's even
The
longer
community
than I
council
thought.
took up this idea of coming together?
They're great connectors, and so they got us together. So this is the first year, however, that we've had a gift, kind of a coordinated charitable gift guide, encouraging people to give through the Community Foundation website, making it very convenient for people. And we're not doing this, we're not charging the nonprofits for this, we're doing this free of charge. But it's also something that supports the Sustainable Living Center and the idea of giving basically love and generosity on behalf of a loved one rather than a new sweater. So
Yeah.
we agree with that. Yeah.
And each of the organizations has set goals for their giving catalog, and all of the funds raised at the gift fair will go towards fulfilling that goal as well. So we consider it kind of the physical kickoff to the giving catalog.
Yeah. And the giving catalog is good for the month of December. So we started Sunday
Yeah.
morning.
This is valid.
Yes,
You're
that is valid through
accepting
December
money
31st.
all through December.
Well, actually, we accept gifts at any time, but this particular promotion to help these 60 different charities will go through the whole month of December. So up until right before New Year's Eve, people can make a gift. And they can make a gift in honor of someone, in memory of someone, and we'll let that family know. And we'll print that in our materials and put it on our website. So there's an impact there.
And I suppose if somebody wanted something on a tree, they could just make a note of that with a nice decoration saying that we have given to your favorite charity, such and such, and that kind of goes along with.
At the gift fair, you can actually get a gift card that describes
Kinda like
your
what I was
gift.
talking about?
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
and
For the tree, huh?
charity. Yeah, exactly. You just put the card on the tree.
Stories. Did I hear that Erendira may have a story?
Oh, we both have a lot of stories, in our experience. It's like last year at the Alternative Gift Fair, you had families come in with that gift guide and they have circled which charities they wanted to do. So it's something they did it together as a family. They sat down with the kids and said, well, here's our budget for giving at the holidays, and where should it go? So we saw that. I'm inspired by that. We also have a lot of organizations that are profiled. People don't know about all the good that's being done in our community. And I'm happy to say that Blue Mountain TV is in it, Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association, and so people can give to the broadcasting group through the Community Foundation website.
And especially if they use it, especially if they're watching us right now and
Exactly.
using it.
Exactly.
That would really
Right
be
now,
helpful.
go right now.
Please.
Yes, in fact, and I'll repeat this a little later, but it's www.bluemountainfoundation.org/catalog. Catalog.
And
right.
speaking of that, I would love to have both of you select your particular one that you're going to highlight as an example. I enjoyed reading some of these.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Erendira? Yes.
Well, one of them is the AAUW. They have a scholarship fund for women.
Oh.
And these are for women whose education was interrupted. Maybe they stayed home and took care of the kids. Maybe they weren't able to, they had to drop out of college for some reason, or they just weren't able to go. So that's a scholarship that's supported through this initiative. under its American Association of University Women.
I was
but
wanting to
AAU
know about
Yeah.
that. Thanks for saying what that stands
Yeah,
for.
it's a very active group here. And you've got Skyline Adventures, which is at Bluewood, northeast of Dayton. And there you have charitable giving supporting snowboarding and skiing and outdoor winter sports for people who are disabled, maybe vets with PTSD, or people who otherwise aren't able to take advantage of that. And it sounds maybe that's like a luxury, but why shouldn't everyone be able to go up and have fun in the snow? It's a good thing to do.
Especially if someone says, why shouldn't they be able to? And so they write the check and mail it to P.O. Box.
Well, they could mail it to us at P.O. Box 603 in Walla Walla, 99362.
And on the memo line?
It would be BMCF dash whatever the name of the organization is.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this is you can write one check or make one credit card gift and list all the different groups that you want to support.
Erendira?
So
What would be your choice? Yeah.
I really would like to support the Early Life Speech and Language. They're a very dedicated group of individuals.
Is that in there?
It is, actually. They're a very dedicated group of individuals who are giving children from ages 2 to 7, so typically preschool children, speech therapy lessons, professional certified speech therapy lessons at no charge, and really kind of diverting children from the path of having trouble in school and in later life by giving them the gift of speech. And it's an organization that probably many people don't know about, but it's very important and very fulfilling for the families that are able to take advantage of those services.
The gift of communication that can be a
Absolutely.
lifelong amplification of those invested dollars.
Yes.
Beautiful. Now I'm going to give you a quiz. I had a tour at the Homeless Alliance Sleep Center. I didn't even know where they were until yesterday. And what can you do? You have this. You have these sheets. What? Maybe we'll do that after the break. Okay, you're going to find in your catalog where that is, and you're going to tell me how much it would take for me to get those items that they are suggesting. Okay. But we have just a few seconds, so to speak. Let's review again what's happening this month. First of all, this catalog, all the month of December.
Yes, the giving catalog is, it was in the Walla Walla Union Bulletin.
Yes.
And it's available at their website. You can come to the Blue Mountain Community Foundation website and look at it. If you'd like a hard copy, call us at the office and we'll send you one. And you'll see all 60 charities in it, and it's really good reading.
Well, we'll take a break with both of these fine, wonderful ladies, and we'll be talking a bit more about how we can benefit our community, especially the many nonprofits in our valley. Welcome to Valley Viewpoint. Welcome back, and we're so glad that you joined us for the second half. I'm with two wonderful ladies. Kari Isaacson is the Executive Director of the Blue Mountain Community Foundation, and Erendira Cruz is part of and Executive Director of the Sustainable Living Center, and I'm learning more about these two wonderful organizations as we go about the interview. And before we took a break, I asked about how I could support, for example, the Alliance for the Homeless. And I was kind of giving you a quiz from your own catalog. What are some of the examples? Would you have some examples of what they would be interested in?
Yes, yes I do. And so if one were to make a gift through the Community Foundation on behalf of the Walla Walla Alliance for the Homeless, for $12 for that gift, you'd buy 15 pairs of socks for homeless people. For $35, you would cover the cost of getting a substitute birth certificate so they can get ID, which means they could move on.
See, I never even thought about that until I read that, and that's why I'm wanting to highlight that. That's neat.
A few years ago in our area, homelessness was being addressed in a little different way. And right now we both have a systemic approach to it, and we have immediate care. And the Walla Walla Alliance for the Homeless is providing immediate care. And it's, I know someone personally who stays there, and she's been homeless for a couple of years. She's lived there for a couple of years, and just now is going to qualify for housing next year. And she was very excited about that. But without this alliance, she would not be in that good space.
And what is your favorite story about some of these nonprofits that you have been associated with for 5 years, did I hear?
Yes, this is the 5th annual Alternative Gift Fair, and there are a handful of wonderful organizations that have been with us since the very beginning. One that I find just amazing is called Books for Babes. And what Books for Babes does is they provide a gift bag of books, new books for newborns or families of newborns throughout the Walla Walla Valley. And this is done through a 2nd grade class at Edison Elementary, but under the auspices of Kay Barja, who was a 2nd grade teacher there for many years. And the way that books can impact a young person's life and even an infant's life, being read to is one of the best things that you can do for your child. And it's just a wonderful program that relies a lot on support from the public and does so on a shoestring, really, but has been involved with us. And probably many people outside of the school district haven't heard of it, but it's a great program in our community.
And the catalog that you have highlights this.
Yes, absolutely.
And I suppose I didn't go through it as carefully as I should have with the 58 or 60 nonprofits.
There's 60, it's a lot of reading.
Yes, and I went through quite a few, but I didn't focus in on that.
There's a great impact that the nonprofit community makes in our valley and beyond, and it's pretty hard to quantify, but there are so many people and so many directors and so many volunteers and board members that are just doing things day in and day out. And you mentioned Chuck when we were talking about the Alliance for the Homeless, but people that are just so devoted to doing good in our community and in our valley. And I think that a lot of times we don't recognize that, and that this hopefully this catalog will help get the word out and help people understand and realize how much is being done in our valley.
It would be an absolute desert to live here. It'd be like living, well, there were jackrabbits not too far away from Walla Walla in the old days. But, we're kind of a desert in a sense, close to one at least. And it would be a desert, I'm using that metaphorically. Without these nonprofits, it would be a desert to live here.
What makes life worth living here?
It does.
You've got, our churches, the colleges, the universities, the hospitals, the libraries. Those all were voluntary, charitable activities and projects. And now it's just really blossomed and helping so many people in so many different ways.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Kari, because what you have here in the catalog is a fraction of all, as you say, the churches, all the nonprofits in our valley, and the schools that are not included, and yet.
So in this, for the month of December, through the Giving Catalog, we have the large organizations that a lot of people know, wonderful groups. The Humane Society, Blue Mountain Humane Society, Blue Mountain Action Council.
What would we do without them?
I know.
We'd have stray animals, uncared for. Isn't that right? Without Humane Society, we would have some chaos, wouldn't we?
We'd have some chaos, but we'd also have some real heartbreak. where you'd have animals that are in desperate need of care and no place and nobody to call for help.
Yeah.
So that's important. So the catalog involves and helps all kinds of major nonprofits here, the YMCA, the YWCA, those kind of organizations. That's great. But it also introduces lesser known groups to our community. And another one is, say, Trilogy, which is a support program for people recovering from addiction.
The
whether
teens
it's
especially
the
in our
teens
community.
especially. And that is so important, especially with the opioid crisis that we've had here. And then we have music. We have the symphony. And then we have the environment. We have Tri-State Steelheaders and a couple of other environmental groups.
And I noticed the band is represented too, the
Walla
community
Walla,
band.
yes, very important.
What did you do when you were both, how did you put this catalog together? Did you mail out to all the nonprofits and say, do you want to be included? Or
Oh
how
boy,
did that,
I wish
maybe I
should
shouldn't ask you that.
you should be in my office, Roger. I'm hearing from a lot of groups that want to know, well, why aren't we in it? But we reached out to as many groups as we could and as we knew earlier this summer. We'll do it again. This is an annual thing. So
It
we'll
will
do it again.
probably grow then. You're
It
saying
will
as
grow.
it catch on.
I
it
have
will
5
catch on.
groups already in 2 days, 5 groups. But there were ample, it's an open door. So as long as the charity is in good standing, we'll include them in the this giving catalog. It's online, so there's lots of space. It's online. And our technology is able to accommodate many, many different groups. So that's what makes this catalog possible through the Community Foundation.
I suppose, as you say, there is a level of reputation, so to speak, or longevity or activity that relates to the benefit of the community. And so some nonprofits just go into latency, in other words, or may be not even hardly functioning.
There are some, but we do our due diligence.
Yes.
We want to make sure that it's a functioning organization and that they have a bit of a track record. But sometimes it's, just an inspired niche. It's somebody's idea. We don't have this. There's a new group here in town, and unfortunately they didn't make it this year, but I'm sure they will next year in the Giving Catalog. But it's a DOTY Center, D-O-U-G-H-T-Y, for veterans who are women who have been alcoholic or addicted. And so it's a special support group for them. And that's something we didn't have.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Other thoughts, Erendira?
Gosh, I guess I could make a shameless plug for some
Sure.
of the work that we do. So part of what we'd like to highlight through the Giving Catalog and the Alternative Gift Fair, is the work that we do in providing home energy quick checks for veterans and seniors. So we will send our auditor out, and sometimes also volunteers go out to veteran or senior homes, people who have signed up for this service and have a scheduled time for it. And our auditor or volunteer will go through and do a quick assessment of things that they can do on the spot to make the home more comfortable and energy efficient. And so that might involve things like just cleaning the coils on the refrigerator or replacing the seals around the doors. A lot of times pets will scratch at the seals around the doors, and so those can be fixed, or a weather strip under the door. Those kinds of things, putting plastic on the windows. And so that's one of the things that we've highlighted as our gift for a gift of support, and one of the things that we like to highlight as a service to our veterans and seniors.
Beautifully relevant for December.
Yeah,
and this weather that
it's
we're
getting cold out there.
Well, any other examples? Do you have another? What would my purchase be for another column there? We have just a moment to be able to do this.
Yeah, so just for example, for Habitat for Humanity.
Yes. What could I buy?
Habitat does home building. They actually build homes, and the recipients of the homes, or the people that will be purchasing the home, have sweat equity in the home, but they also need supplies. So for example, for about $40, that would purchase a box of nails to help construct the home.
You need nails?
Yep. About $100 would purchase a high efficiency toilet for the home. So these are things that are, you know.
Water conservation, I like
Yep.
that. Sustainable living center. Well, we have to leave it there, they're telling me. But thank you,
Oh,
Kari.
thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Erendira, for coming.
Thank you for having
and
us.
Informing us about this month-long giving catalog for our valley. Thank you for joining us on Valley Viewpoint. I'm Roger Johnson.